middle of chapter 9 in the Shaar Yichud VeHeMuna. And what we said yesterday, the Rebbe concluded about the understanding the midas of Hashem, how Hashem, when we refer to Hashem with the terms of Chacham, that is a wise one, Rachum is a compassionate one, everything is beyond Hashem. Hashem is not defined by the definition of Chacham, is not defined by the definition of this the compassionate. It is only because he's way, way above it. And the example that the Alter Rebbe used yesterday is just like you cannot say about a concept in Chachma, something which is a concept in intellectual concept that it is so deep that you cannot touch it. You cannot hold it up. Obviously, this is not something you say about something of wisdom, because wisdom is not within the realm of touching. So the same thing is when we're talking about Hashem, you cannot use any of the terms towards Hashem, because Hashem is beyond and above the Chachma and above everything. So this is the Alter Rebbe, but nevertheless, we do find in the sages, in the Torah, that they refer to God as the wise one. So what does that mean? What it means is that the wisdom derives from Him. It comes from Hashem. But it's not that He is defined by the Chachma, by the wisdom and so on. So this is true. And the Alter Rebbe concluded that, and how this is done, how Hashem brings down his wisdom, and how Hashem brings down, and yet Hashem it doesn't affect Hashem, and yet everything comes from Hashem, and is not limited by it. This is, it says, Yodua leMaskilim, this is known to the Maskilim, the people, the Kabbalists. Which here the Alter Rebbe brings a point in a sense also that Hasidus is not about Kabbalah. Hasidus is a whole different thing. Kabbalah is about knowing what's happening in the higher world. The Hasidus is about bringing down the Yichud, the Achdus Hashem of this world, and realizing that this world is one with Hashem. We are one with Hashem. Hashem is everything, and we don't have our own self-existence, and so on. Now today, the Alter Rebbe begins with a footnote, and in the footnote is going to explain a little bit what we spoke before a little bit, and that is the concept of the Symptom, which means the contractions, that for Hashem to bring His light from the higher places to down to this, to create and to emanate this physical world, it went through different contractions. So let's look inside, and we're going to read it inside. Just a second. So now that in the this is not today's. 1 second. Let's go to today. Says the Alter Rebbe. Alter Rebbe now briefly explains the various tzimtzumim, as we said before, the contractions. Says the Alter Rebbe as follows: Soy that tzimtzum be'oir ein soif baruch hu. The note will outline the mystical principle of the Tzimtzum of the Ein Sof light. Before the Tzimtzum, God's infinite manifestation was predominant. There was nothing else. The Tzimtzum, which means contraction, caused his capacity for limitations and finitude, which previously had been submerged within his infinite power, to be revealed. Now then there is also what's called the Symptom Adam Kadmon. And the Symptom of Adam Kadmon, literally, the literal translation is the preliminary man, or something like this, which talks about the level of Hashem. It is the first thought of Hashem that brings about this before this world was created. The Symptom Adam Kadmon, which is the highest state of existence after the Symptom, and the primal thought that contains and is the source of all subsequent emanations and creations. The Soida Dikna. So this is one symptom. There is the first symptom. There is the symptom of Adam Kadmon, and there is also the Soid Hadikna. What is the Soid Hadikna? Soid Hadikna means the secrets of the Dikna. Dikna means a beard. Dikna refers to hair. When you have the hair represents a life, the hair is alive, right? But the hair is not as alive. It is the life in the hair is so reduced that when you cut the hair, you don't feel any pain. So this is also the metaphor of the concept of tzimtzum, yet another tzimtzum that Hashem condenses and reduces his powerful light in order to bring this world. So he says, and the esoteric doctrine of the symptom of Dikna, the life force that animates hair, is exceedingly attenuated, meaning reduced, to the point that cutting it causes no pain. Accordingly, the term Dikna, literally beard, and Saarot, the hair, are used to represent a certain form of Tzimtzum. Says the Alter Rebbe, Shesoid kol ha-tzimtzumim letzamtzem ha'or she'itlabesh b'bchinas kelim de yud spheres. For the underlying purpose of all the contractions to condense the light in order to enable it to become enclosed within the vessels of the 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus. And again, as we explained previously, you have the light and you have the vessels. In the higher worlds, the world of Atzilus, which is the highest world, there is already 10 vessels. Now, just like a vessel, when you have a vessel, it brings the shape to what you put into the vessel. For example, if you have a vessel with a red color, the water that goes into the vessel, when you look from outside, it seems like the water gets a color red, and so on. So you have the light and you have the vessels. So the Rebbe, Vehaemuna, achar shenislabesh oirein sof b'bchinas kelim de Chabad. After the light of the endless light, the oirein sof, was clothed into Chabad, as shayech leima ma shekasav Rambam, hu hayodea v'hu amada v'hu hayodua ubiyedias atzmai. Says it is only after the Ein Sof light becomes clothed within the vessels of Chabad that Maimonides' statement about the Holy One, blessed be He, is in place. He is the knower, He is the knowledge, and He is the known. And by knowing Himself, He knows all creation. So that statement that the Rambam said, that our knowledge is not like Hashem's knowledge. Hashem's knowledge and Hashem Himself are one thing. That concept, you can only talk about Hashem after Hashem reduced, so to speak, His light and brought the light into the 10 vessels, the 10 spheres of Atzilus. There you can say that this idea of Hashem's wisdom is one thing with Hashem Himself, And therefore, Hashem knowing us does not change Hashem. Because by humans, when we know something, we gain something. But Hashem knowing us is knowing himself, because him and his knowledge are one. And as we said before, what the Rambam says, that this is something that is humanly impossible to understand, but we can understand that we don't understand. So, and it says, continues the Alter Rebbe, Lefi shebchinas kelim de'atzilus nasim neshama v'chayus lebriya yetzira asiya ulechol asher ba'em. For the vessels of Atzilus become the soul and life force of the world of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, and all the creatures therein. Avol bli tzimtzum ve'albosha anal lo yishayach klal loima hu hayodei v'hu amad v'chulu. However, without the aforesaid tzimtzum and investitude of the light in the vessels, it is not at all appropriate to say that he is the knower, he is the knowledge, and so etc. Meaning, the whole category of knowledge cannot be described to God, even in so exalted a manner as in the statement that he is the knower, etc. Meaning, because Hashem is above knowledge, he's not in the realm of knowledge at all. For he is not within the realm and domain of knowing and knowledge at all, God forbid. But infinitely elevated above even the level and the bounds of wisdom. For even the statement that he is the knower implies restricting God, so to speak, to one particular faculty, meaning wisdom, as distinct from, let's say, the attitude of kindness and mercy. God, however, utterly transcends all such bounds. Hashem is not limited in wisdom, he's not limited in mercy, he's not limited in anything. To the extent that in relation to him, the level of wisdom is considered like the level of physical action. So this is the end of the note that Alter Rebbe says. And now he goes back to what he said before. He said before that knowing exactly how this is happening, this is the Kabbalist know. So the Alter Rebbe continues now, Ve'ein lanu eisek benistoros. Now we are not concerned with esoteric matters, how the emanation of the spheres from the Ein Sof light came about, and the subsequent manner of their unity with him. So it comes from Hashem, and at the same time, he is not limited with him and is united with him. This is to us to know, says the Alter Rebbe as follows. Achaniglois lanu lehamin emuna shleima deiu vegarmo yichad. But it is incumbent upon us to believe with complete faith matters that are revealed to us, that he and his attributes, meaning the vessels and the spheres, are one. So this is, for us, it's a matter of emuna, to understand, to believe that all of this, what Hashem has, the higher world, the lower world, everything is one with Hashem himself. The Hainu, which means midois of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, u'retzoinoi v'chochmasoi u'binasoi v'daitoi imausoi v'atzmusoi. Says, meaning the attributes of the Holy One, blessed be he, and his will and his wisdom and understanding and knowledge are one with his essence and being. who alone is exalted by infinite elevation above the level of wisdom and intellect and comprehension. Velochein, and therefore, gam yichudoi shemisyached imidoisav shehetzil meita izborich gam ken einoi bibchinas asage. Hence, he says, since he totally transcends intellect and comprehension, his union with the attributes which he emanates from himself is also beyond the realm of comprehension. Lehasig eich misyached bohem, meaning it is impossible to understand how he unites with them. Rather, this may be apprehended only through faith. So the level of faith has just become elevated a little bit. When you understand certain things and you reach the understanding that is a higher level, cannot be understood by faith, by understanding, but you have to grasp it only with faith that you believe in this. Velochein says, therefore, nikru midoisav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shein asfiros bezoyar HaKadosh roze de Vehaemuna. He says it is in the Holy Zohar, therefore, the attributes of the Holy One, blessed be He, which are the spheres, are called roze de Vehaemuna, which means the secret of faith. Hence, this is the whole part of the Tanya is called the Shaar, Hayichud, VaEmuna, the gateway to oneness and faith. There is the gateway of oneness, the part of oneness that we can understand as much as possible. What does it mean Hashem is one? That not only there is one God, as we learned in the earlier chapters, but everything else and nothing really exists. And what it is, and then you have the faith. The faith, once you reach the level that you cannot understand, you reach the level of faith. You have the emunah in that level. Shehi emunah shelemayla min haseichel, which is the faith that transcends intellect. For this concept cannot be grasped intellectually, but only through faith. It is one point also to point out here in the Tanya. Alter Rebbe says something interesting. He pointed in the previous chapters, the Alter Rebbe mentioned that the world really does not have a true existence. And the world, compared to Hashem, is nothing, as if it doesn't exist. By Hashem, it doesn't exist. And here, he says a little different. Here, if we look inside here, it says, Leasig, we have to understand also eich misyached bohem, to understand how he unites with them, meaning that something exists over here. So I heard an interesting explanation from Rabbi Manis Friedman, and he says that when we're talking about the world, the material world, it is in reference to Hashem as if it doesn't exist. So he gives an example. Let's say a person is walking the streets, so he's walking the streets. He cares about walking the streets. When a person eats, then he cares about the food he eats. But then what happens when a person is walking to shul? Yes, you are walking the streets, but is this what you're doing? You're walking the streets? You're not walking the streets. You're walking to shul. The whole idea of walking is because you want to get to the shul. So the walking, in order to get to the shul, you have to walk. But that person, you cannot say that this person is walking the streets. He's walking to shul. And the same thing when a person eats something. He eats l'shem shamayim. He eats for the purpose of getting strength and getting to be able to serve Hashem. So the food that he eats is because he has to eat in order to survive. But the main thing is the eating the food. The main thing is the purpose of it, that he's using it to serve Hashem, to become strong. So the food is, yes, he is eating, but when you use it for Hashem, then the eating doesn't really exist. The idea, the physical eating is not, you're not eating for the purpose of the food. But when it comes, for example, when you do a mitzvah, so when you do a mitzvah, let's say you put on tefillin, yes, you're putting the physical tefillin, And there, Hashem is united with the tefillin. It's not just that in order to do the mitzvah, you have to have a physical tefillin. It's not that just the mitzvah is some spiritual, meditation about tefillin. It is that very physical act that taking the 4 straps, taking the boxes, which has in it 4 parchments inside, all of this is part of Hashem's will. This is Hashem's will. So therefore, in that case, in the mitzvahs, Hashem unites with this physical world. It becomes one with the physical world. Versus when you're doing regular mundane things, and you're doing it, why? Because you cannot live otherwise. In order to get to shul, you have to walk. So there, the walking is not a walking. It's not that you're walking the streets, you're walking to shul. And the same thing is with all the mitzvahs. So this is the end of today's shir. Once again, should be Leila Nishmas, Camila Sarah Basarach, the Neshama should have an aliyah. We should all have a geula shlema. We should be with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu very soon. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Questions? Now I know, I'm sure you guys have questions. So this is the time.